Hello and welcome to a video with me, Winner and Trades, with another video of Weekly Entry, in which I'm just going to very quickly get straight to talking about anime, because I got shitloads of fucking anime to talk about this week. Because, yeah, so much anime into this week, so, yeah. Starting off with the first thing I got, which is Farming Life in Another World, which, to be honest, I think I'm mostly going to be complaining about stuff here, I think. But, yeah, it was a good anime. Though I basically just have one large complaint about it, which is just how much things were apparently changed and moved around in this. In which, yeah, Hikaru basically has this village all to himself, with tons of girls, which he's the only one really able to do anything with them. So, technically this would be a harem, but yeah, that's just not really there at all. It doesn't even really hint at any kind of relationships, despite the fact that there are supposed to be some. Considering literally when it comes to relationships, it only really hints at anything happening at all in the first few episodes. That's it. And after those first few episodes, and basically when the elves came into play, it's basically just got reduced to just jokes about how much the elves want to reproduce. That is it. That's pretty much all that there was to hint at any kind of relationships at all once they got introduced. In which you eventually get to the end of episode 10, and all of a sudden Lou is pregnant out of nowhere, basically. And that was actually supposed to be something that was supposed to happen like episode 6 or 7, apparently. So it got pushed back quite a way, which was like 2 years afterwards. 2 years have gone by or something, a year or two at least, in that amount of time. And yeah, Lou ended up getting pregnant, and even Hiraku, who was seemingly surprised that she was pregnant, despite the fact that it is literally his child, though he doesn't actually really say anything about that, considering he doesn't really seem to know that it's his child until he's kind of just literally told that it's his child in the final episode after he's been born. And then he basically just all of a sudden dawns on him that, yes, he is actually a father now. It's like, did you seriously not know that this was your child or something, dude? Um, yeah. And so, to me, it's kind of like he's basically just forgets literally the fact that he's basically fucking everyone in the village. It's all every day or something. Considering that it's supposed to be happening, apparently, going by the light novel or manga, whichever it is. Yeah. But all that stuff is basically cut out of the anime. Basically removes all implications of it, so I guess that could be one thing. Is in the anime, he just forgets about it every single morning or something. Maybe that's the explanation for it all. I'm not sure. And also another thing I'm guessing, considering all these changes with that stuff, I would take a guess, considering I know he does have more kids in the future when it comes to this, and I'm take a guess that T would probably be getting pregnant or something towards the end of where the anime ended, or slightly after where the anime ended. That's where she was supposed to. Though, yeah, I don't think that would happen if this gets a second season. And probably getting pushed off quite a bit as well, if it ever happens. But then, one last thing to really point out on this that just really is stupid is when Hikaru's son was being born and everything, he wasn't there with Lou when she was giving birth. No, 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 no. He went outside and spent the entire night by himself outside while his child was being born. It's like, why? I don't think that's what you're supposed to do, but, yeah. I'm done complaining there. This was a good anime, okay? It was a good anime despite how much all of that really kind of started pissing me off a bit. It was a good anime and was enjoyable to watch, with an exception to how much that was annoying me. But, yeah, next anime, Tsunise. Which, this anime I think is actually basically the most unique Otome game anime I've actually seen yet. in which we got Endo and Kobayashi are actually playing an Otome game, in which they are able to talk to the characters, some of the characters at the very least, in which they are trying to get the happy ends of all the happy ends or something that doesn't actually exist in the game. An ending where none of the characters actually die and stuff, in which that's pretty much most the anime is. It's just them trying to do the best they can at getting that happy ending, in which most of that was very wholesome romance and everything, of course. And then you got to the final few episodes of it, which it took a bit of a turn, with just how ridiculous it got, and just stupid, kind of. But it was the good kind of stupid, considering it kind of got to the point where it actually became an isekai, with Endo and Kabayashi end up going to the game world for Seg and Lisei's wedding. Uh, yeah. It was stupid, but the good kind of stupid. That's all I'll say for that stuff. But overall, with this one, with Sunrise, it was a wholesome romance anime with stupid crap in it. With stupid and ridiculous ending to it and all that, but, yeah, it was good. But moving on to the next thing, which is My Hero Academia Season 6, which I'm just going to go through very quickly here, considering I really never have anything to say about this thing, so yeah. I really don't care about the story. Still don't. 6th season in it, I don't really care about the story yet. And considering I'm pretty sure we're getting close to the end, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to care about the story that much. But yeah, this season pretty much just covers the war arc, and I guess the other arc was called the Dark Hero arc or whatever, I'm not really sure. I don't know the names of the arcs, I'm not invested in the darn thing, okay? But yeah, guessing season 7 is probably going to be like last season, or second to last season at least. So yeah, we're getting close to the end, I think. Thankfully. That is, unless it just kind of gets needlessly dragged on forever for no reason at all, which is very much a possibility. But yeah, moving on to the next thing, which is chilling in my 30s after being fired from the Demon King's army. Yeah, another one of these. Getting kicked out of the party stuff and shit. But this one is, of course, still good and everything. Dario got fired from the Demon King's army, and basically, when he was basically the one person actually keeping the darn Demon's army together and everything. Considering the moment he left, it all started collapsing due to incompetence. Yeah, but yeah, Dario went on to live his life in a village at that point. Literally just living his life, as it says, kind of, in the title. In which, I think, around halfway through the anime, you got one episode. In which in half of that episode, just half of it, Dariel and Marika kiss, fuck, marry each other, and also have a kid in the span of just that half an episode. And also, Daria ended up becoming the village mayor, of course. Or in that time as well. So yeah, a lot of progress in those, like, that half an episode right there. So, yeah. But overall, with the anime, it's more or less a slice of life anime, I feel like, more than anything else. In which Marika is, without question, the strongest person in the world, considering how, yeah. She's just the strongest, which she only really puts that power to use when hugging Dario. So, yeah. Also, one last thing, I guess, to mention that's kind of noticed towards the end there is Dorone, or how you pronounce the name of that leader of the one of the leaders of Demon King's army there, is the fact that she was literally spent the entire time looking for Dario, apparently, and at the end there, she still hasn't actually gotten to see him. Honestly, kind of feel bad about her for that, considering she literally spent the entire time looking for him and never did get to see him, despite all the others that have found him already and spending time with him and everything. Yeah, she doesn't even know that he has started a family and has a kid. Yeah, feel bad for a bit. But, yeah, moving on to the next thing, which is The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, which I think I'm not going don't really have much to say here, but yeah, it's a wholesome romance anime, a very wholesome romance anime at that, in which the Amine and Miharu basically go through the entire season not dating despite the fact that they're basically married, considering they're pretty much living together the entire time. But yeah, I really don't have anything to say besides the fact that it is literally just a very wholesome romance anime. I don't have anything else to say for it. So moving on to the next thing, which is Roken, or saving up to 30 million gold or whatever. Yeah. This was actually one of my favorite anime of this season, in which I think that's mainly just due to the fact that this has a little bit of a concept that I've kind of been looking forward to actually seeing eventually when it comes to isekais. And yeah, it's literally just the fact that the main character can go back and forth between worlds at will. It's like, I am surprised it took so long for us to get an isekai like this, considering the closest thing we've really had to something like this is Gate, in which you gotta go through a gate to go between worlds, and not just be able to go back and forward at will. But yeah, Mitsa can of course go between worlds at will and everything. And beginning of the anime, she basically stayed at a village while she is researching and learning things about that world and everything. In which she eventually went to the capital, the country she was in, opened a shop, got connections with nobility, and mostly did that for the majority of the anime there until he got to the war at the end of the season, in which she stopped being so cautious about all her powers and everything, because she almost died. And, yeah, with that war, she ended up bringing mercenaries, or to be more accurate, I guess, a private military company over that she has got all of her training from to fight the enemies, which included a dragon. In which, after that war, she ended up becoming a viscountess or whatever there. So yeah, she got her own land and everything at the end of the season, which, to be honest, probably means shitloads more money for eventually, after developing the land and everything. But yeah, apparently with the whole war there at the end of the anime, things were changed there apparently, considering there was apparently supposed to be like 3 dragons or something instead of just one, and Mitsuha was apparently supposed to be a lot more ruthless or something. Which, to be honest, I think I would have really liked to see that actually adapted properly. Considering I think I got a little snippet of what the war was supposed to be like there, how ruthless Mitsuha was supposed to be. And yeah, I just trying to imagine that in my head. It's like that would have been so much better if that was actually adapted properly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this anime, in which I'm probably a minority of people that actually did, going by the scores on Mal, so yeah. I guess I'm one of the few people that enjoyed Sorokins, but yeah. Moving on to the next thing, which is By the Grace of the Gods Season 2, in which I really feel like this has basically lost the charm it's had in the first season, I feel like. Considering, yeah, just wasn't really as enjoyable as the first season from what I remember. In which the only things that even happened in this season, to be honest, sure, it's still a slice of life and everything, but the only things that really actually happened was the fact that Roma opened his second shop at the beginning of the season there. Ilaria started going to that school or whatever toward around the middle of the anime, which like had half an episode dedicated to that at the very least or something, which that's more or less all we got to see of her the entire time, besides like at the end of every episode with her like writing letters to Roma and stuff. And then there's also the festival at the end of the season. And yeah, besides those things, it was basically just bringing in more characters and tons of smaller things, and that's it. It's like really not much really happened at all, and it just wasn't very enjoyable. especially compared to the first season, from what I'm remembering. So, yeah, not great, I feel like. But moving on to the next one, which is Handyman Saito in Another World. In which it was very surprising how good this anime actually was. In which the anime basically started off with like short skits and stuff to basically do world building and introduce characters and stuff like that, which I'm pretty sure actually turned away quite a few people because they just didn't like the whole short skits and stuff. But it was literally like the first two or possibly three episodes I think that I was doing then, and that's it. And then it kind of actually got a story going at that point after all the characters were introduced and everything, in which we eventually get towards the end and Morlock's just a complete badass despite the fact that he's basically the butt of every single joke throughout the entire anime basically. Seriously, Morlock's good. He really is. And then also final episode pretty much was the final episode basically just went back to the whole short skit stuff again that had at the beginning of the anime, but still, it's good. In which, with that final episode, it would seem that Saito's basically made this entire party his harem, considering Ryo's and Saito already kind of have a thing going on there this entire time. Then you got Lafanpan, the fairy, kind of parents seemingly falling for Saito when she is temporarily human-sized, in which, and then you also apparently had Morlock when he is being badass and everything, in which during all that he apparently for a short moment into becoming a girl during all that, in which apparently starts thinking that Saito was cute during that short amount of time. Yeah, the entire party's basically become Saito's harem. At least, kind of. But, yeah. It was a very surprising anime, to be honest. Really didn't expect it to be so good. And honestly, probably one of the best anime of the season, I think. But moving on to the next thing, which is Inspector Season 2. In which we, of course, get more the same with what we got in the previous season with Kotoko and Kuro doing more cases and things, in which I think there were three main cases in total, with other smaller ones kind of separating them and stuff. In which I'm pretty sure out of those three main cases, the ones that was everyone's favorite was the one to do with the Yuki-onna. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that one I think most people would agree on, considering the Yuki-onna was pretty good. And also, there was only really one episode, I think, in the season that's really had anything to do with Rika this time around, which I guess seems kind of just due to the fact that she's basically hiding at this point and just doing things in the background. But, yeah. It was just another good season of Inspector, I think, for the most part, and not much else. So, moving on to the next thing, which is Reborn to Master the Blade, or whatever. To be honest, I think this was one of the worst anime of the season, considering it really didn't feel like it had much of a story at all. You know, it's basically just English fights every single person that she sees, basically. Everything she sees. And to be honest, considering how much she loves to fight, is she more of a battle maniac than Goku is? Considering Goku's obsessed with fighting strong people and everything. But is English even more far gone than Goku on that? Really don't know. But yeah. I honestly don't have anything to say about this thing. It's just not that good, I feel like. It just felt very rushed and everything with no substance or anything when it comes to story. So, moving on to Campfire Cooking in Another World, which is apparently Mappa's first isekai anime, in which it was pretty good. In which this, of course, was basically focused on cooking, considering, well, campfire cooking in another world. Kind of obvious about cooking, mostly. Though you, of course, got the adventuring comedy and stuff in it, which all that was good as well. In which, yeah, This was one of the better isekais we've had in a while, I feel like. But, yeah, Sui's cute, that's for sure. But, I really don't know what else to say about it. To be honest, I'm pretty much at the point when it comes to the animating this list here for the week that I just kinda got tired of writing notes, so yeah. Don't really have much to say about anything at this point. So, moving on to the next thing. Tomo-chan is a girl, in which this adapted the entire manga, apparently, already. Though I'm guessing it did skip things throughout it to condense things down to fit into those 13 episodes it had and everything. In which you start off with Tomo confessing to June, and then a year later they actually are going out at the end there. So yeah, very good to be honest. Definitely not getting a second season for it, considering it's already finished the manga. But yeah, very good comedy throughout it, and yeah, Carol's best girl. So, moving on to the next one, which is Spy Classroom, which it wasn't a good anime, but I don't think it was a bad one either. You had a little training arc at the beginning of the season, and then two missions, basically. And at the beginning, with that whole training arc, we only knew of the 7 members at Lamplights there. Because the 8th was hidden the entire time. Erna. The only times you'd actually be able to see her is when literally all the girls were there, and she'd be hidden behind one of them or something, and you can only see like her arm or her leg or something like that. And only actually got to saw her when that first mission was over and stuff that the training was for. Yeah. Completely surprised me because I never noticed her. But, yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't really bad, I feel like. But going by the ending, this seems like it's going to be getting a second season or something, considering that, how the anime ended there at the end. And also the fact that this is apparently going to have some kind of announcement next week. So, yeah. I think there's going to be a second season. No official announcement considering the announcement's going to be next week, but I'm guessing that's going to be like a second season or something. But yeah, that stuff's done. I have no more anime to talk about. Finally. So, actually, wait. I do have stuff to do. All the anime for next season. Go through all that stuff. And just kind of show that off right here. Yeah. I think I got like 30 anime there again. Seriously. Watching way too much anime, I feel like, and seriously, like 3 of those, I think 3 of the anime I'm watching this season are basically just ones that I added to the list there, just cause why not? Things that I could have easily not added to the list, but decided to just add on for whatever reason. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that, considering I did the same thing with this season, and those were kind of ones that I didn't really enjoy as much, I feel like. So, yeah. When that stuff's done, finally, and also, I guess one last thing I'll mention for this video here, since I honestly don't really have anything else to talk about, is, yeah. I only just noticed after recording last week's video that Lessons in Love actually got an update. So, yeah, I got an update for Lessons in Love to do whenever that update actually becomes public, which I'm not sure if that's actually public yet or not. But yeah, finally an update for Lessons in Love after basically having absolutely no news for that at all for like 2 months or something. Seriously, no idea why syllabus was just so quiet the last 2 months. But yeah, finally got an update and actually have a roadmap for things now as well, so I'll actually have an idea of when updates are supposed to be now, finally. But yeah, that stuff is finally done. Only got 3 anime left for this season that weren't delayed, and yeah, 2 of them end Friday, one ends Saturday, and Saturday is when the entire next season really starts going again. So, yeah. Got a lot of anime to watch. But yeah, that's there is the end of this video. Because yeah, I'm just tired of this at this point. because I'm just tired of talking at this point. So yeah, that there is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.